What's going on, y'all? It's Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video. Obviously, big December. I've talked about it for a few videos now. We know all the cards that are lined up. Chrome, Homecoming, Bullpen versus Trenches event. So, figured that I put together my 5 biggest battles that I think, matter the most here in this December. And in December, that has a lot of battles that matter, a lot of career-altering battles, the guys that really need wins. Couple here that at the end might be missing, you know what I'm saying, or to you might be missing, and I'll explain why those didn't make the list. But for me, these are the 5 biggest picks of how this could affect really the future landscape of battle rap. So a lot of great battles to talk about. Without further ado, let's just jump right into the 5. So starting out at number 5, and this is the one that, some could debate, because of the randomness or maybe lower tiers compared to some of the other stuff going on. But we do have Swamp versus L Castro. Now, the reason I think this battle is important is there's a lot at stake for both battlers here. I think especially when it comes to the L Castro side, we're talking about a guy that needs a win. Who knows if this goes bad? Is this the last time we see Lou? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's been dips that you would figure might put a battler away, but the thing is his highs show some intangibles that other battlers don't have. What he can do on a big stage, regardless of how the wins and losses are turning out, there's clearly something there. So, it doesn't take a lot when you have already proved potential like that to just earn a chance. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of strike out 5 times, hit once, but this could be the one hit. It's humongous for him. Big stage in New York, home game, a lot of elements that could play into the factor. And as for Swamp, I think Swamp is a top-tier battle rapper, but this year he just was not booked like a top-tier battle rapper compared to obviously what his 2022 looked like. And I think you have to keep winning, even though you're battling down, to keep up that hype to be in the picture for a Calico plate or a Verb plate or something of that nature. And I know that a lot of that is out of his hands. These are battles that probably should have kind of gotten locked in this year, right? But you still have to keep your momentum. And then on top of that for Swamp, it is a big stage New York battle. Now, last year, I think he gets a little bit too much slack for the Arsenal battle. I think that's more on Ars. I thought Swamp was actually okay as the battle went on, but the crowd is just already lost by then, right? But you kind of avenge that a little bit. Maybe have a big New York, break the building performance kind of to add to your list of accolades. I was battling down. I still went and shook Irving Plaza. It's a big look there. So I don't know. For me, there's just stakes in this battle to compare to some other battles where guys might already be solidified. These guys are still developing those careers, you know what I'm saying, to make the history books. So figures it matters a little more. From there, we can get to the main event. A main event. There were a few we're going to talk about here, but this one is Coffee Brown versus 40 Bars for the Queen of the Ring main event. What more can I say? You know what I'm saying? This was supposed to go down a year ago. Obviously, for reasons we'll never fully pinpoint, but 40 said that she could not rap that day, and the grudge that was already built up then with the crazy promo is very over the top and disrespectful. Battle sat for a year, and now we're right back at it. I don't know if this is going down in the ring. I hope it is. I hope that there is ropes, there's ring and ropes around these ladies as they rap. I feel like the whole aesthetic would be really great. You know what I'm saying? Always good to put a little bit of nostalgia in there. That's always going to add to what already should be a great matchup. And as for 40, grudge match for the ladies. Now 40 is solidified, but as of recently, particularly her consistency against women is the funny thing for me. Even though there's still wins in there, you know what I'm saying? The Chirac battle, I believe is when you go back, who else 40 got the win on? KCJ, you're going back farther than that, though. But obviously, the Yoshi battle really wasn't the best look. The C3 battle really wasn't the best look. QB, obviously, she wins that battle. But while she's been doing good against the men, Ill Will, John, it's hard to say she's been doing bad in battle rap, but particularly being one of the best female battle rappers ever, maybe she hasn't been holding her end to the bargain when it comes to the lady versus lady matchups. And then this is a grudge, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the Yoshi battle didn't go too well either. Although I think her material was good, she was slipping up, losing it. You can't have that, and as for Coffee, the Couture battle's off the table. That probably would have made this list, right? But things now get shaken up with that not there. But still a grudge match for her to prove herself, and winning this still could put her up, maybe not real Wody number 1 contention, but I think she could still jump hustle, man. I have her at 3, possibly hitting number 2, and finishing off a great grudge match, probably the biggest match of her career, and what would be her high, not her highest placement, but another high placement in the voting rankings. So now we head into the top three here, and at number three, we have another main event, this time for Drop Your Location, the Trenches versus Bullpen, Easy the Block Captain versus John Dodon. A battle that might have been a little bit lower on this list, but you add the 25K aspect, and you know what I'm saying, that obviously raises the stakes quite a bit. When you look at it, grudge match, but not a grudge match, I feel like the other battles are. I mean, they have been talking bad about each other for a while, but I feel like that happens with all of Easy's battles. If not pre-battle, somehow post-battle, you know what I'm saying, with the Diz battle. Like, everything turns into kind of a grudge match when you have a guy that just sells the fight the way Easy does. And both of them, I feel like, have high stakes, right? For Easy, clear for the legacy, bouncing back from a loss. Every legend has it. Nobody is undefeated. Contrary to nobody is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? I can name a clear loss for probably every battle rapper. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how the sport goes. So when you look at Easy, he takes, even though he had taken technically the judge lost to Fonz and whatnot, since his streak started, his top tiered him battling big opponents. Geechee was the first notable clear loss of his career, and people want to see, do you go right back to being the safe bet you were beforehand? Tough matchup, new angle out on you. We're talking about Geechee Gotti here. So a lot of things play into that, but this guy was a safe bet versus T-Top, versus Calico, versus K-Shine, versus Hitman. If you bet money on Easy to win those battles, you should have gotten paid from those bets. That man was honoring, you know what I'm saying, a lot of clear wins, something that the sport hadn't really seen that many times in a row versus top competition. In my opinion, probably the greatest win streak in battle rap history. That's a whole other conversation. Now, do you go and be a safe bet versus John? Another formidable top-tier comp. But it's big for the legacy, because if you lose two in a row, is it in your head? People start asking questions like that. And as for John, I've said it many times, but I feel like this is just one of the lower, like, year-long stretches of his career. Like, going back not to the Surf battle, but even to the Ill Will battle to now, from Ill Will to Ace to Surf, and then you get into this year with more of the Chef Trez and the 40 bars and T-Tops and things of that nature, where it's either footage or you just don't have him winning the battle. At least I don't have him winning the battle. And it's not to say he's been winless over this time by any means. You can even debate that he beat Ace on me and debate he beat a few people, but it's just been lower quality for a guy I think is a no-brainer, a legend. I think it's always funny when that conversation comes up. A guy with third all-time in Summer Madness has headlined, and in my opinion, beat Hollow Denon, has beaten Rum Nitty, Big K, etc., etc. He has more than a proven track record, which is why seeing him the last few years just look less dangerous, it's for like a prolonged stretch. I don't know, you can question motivation, which is usually what it comes down to with battle rap, but apparently that's not the question here, right? He said he wasn't motivated for Surf either, which I'm not really going for whatsoever. He's like, oh, it was so far after the fact, I didn't really want to kill him. But he said he wants to kill Easy right now. He wants to, and he is a master at, well, I won't say a master angler. I mean, some of the highest moments of his career is from angling. So taking some of the stuff out there, it's like I said, not going to be as easy with the Geechee material, but he can do something special. But if he gets cleared this battle, or if Easy does prove to be that safe bet, it's a 2-1, even a 30 like I'm predicting. Gentleman's 30 though. I don't know. Where do we finally see John? I'm not going to say finally, because he's given so many shots, but do we see him go and battle? Maybe go and give a couple shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do that for a little. Is it just like regaining the pace of this air? There's so many questions, you know what I'm saying, if he takes a loss here, because that's just how big battles work. So for all those stakes, you got to talk about this battle being one of the most important. And as for these last two, for me, they're pretty self-explanatory. You know what I'm saying? Not really as much detail to talk about, because it's right there. But at number 2, I do have Jazz versus Big K. Cody contender, heavy Cody contender, heavy Wody contender, matching up bottom of the year. Jazz obviously having the unique thing where she's a common opponent of now Twerk, who, no shocker, we're about to talk about here in a second as well, and Big K. So that element plays into it. And this kind of dark horse thing where, you know, it's like an NFL playoff picture. You know, the wild card picture, like, if he needs to win or she needs to win, and then them and them need to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this weird way that people are kind of seeing a pathway for Jazz to maybe go for number 1 for Cody. You know what I'm saying? And anything is possible if, you know, all these things happen in dramatic fashion. And on top of her battling what many consider to be the Cody favorite. As for Big K, a win over Jazz, especially if it's a clear win compared to battles where, I mean, personally, I had her pretty clearly beating Twerk, but a lot of people do call that debatable. I got to respect that. And I did have her losing to Nitty, but a lot of people call that debatable. You know what I'm saying? So I got to respect that she's had debatable results. If he's able to get a clear W there, you could argue that it separates and maybe puts a nail in the coffin for for Cody, regardless of what Twerk does, which is why we're talking about two of the biggest individual awards in battle rap. The two biggest individual awards in battle rap, it has to be mentioned as one of the biggest battles that's going to close the year, and especially December. We always get a Cody December battle. Usually, at one point in time, I remember that they were going down on URL volumes, but now you get a battle, deciding battle like that here, New York, Chrome. You know, it's a big moment. And then I've already kind of alluded to it, but Twerk versus Murder Moo to me is the most important battle of December. And that's because it also has Cody race implications. Obviously, if Twerk is able to get the Mook win, especially if it's in dramatic fashion in New York, you know what I'm saying, a little harder than maybe the setting that K took Mook in, specifically to beat someone like Murder Mook, right, in Irving Plaza. If he's able to do that, it obviously is going to there. You could go and say maybe that Twerk is Cody. You know what I'm saying? One could argue that maybe that locks it. I don't believe so, but I think that it makes it quite the conversation, and I think that there is a pathway there. And then besides that, it's God tier action. I mean, people, we can make fun of them at the end of the day, and I'll have my critiques. I'm always gonna be fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have my critiques. I'm gonna have the praises when the praises are due. But one thing that can never be questioned is that battle rap is so exciting when a Lux or a Murder Mook is outside, when there is the promo, when there is that final boss end game effect. That's fun, and this is fun here. No matter what people say, they're still about Mook, they're still saying this is like the biggest battle of Twerk's career. Even if you feel like the skill set difference, however you feel, there is some challenge to it, because obviously not everyone is able to do it. Even some other greats that we like a Geechee Gotti, like a Tay Rock. So is Twerk going to be able to climb the mountain? It's just always a fun conversation to have. And then if Mook is able to win, what do you say then when he's beat Geechee, Rock, and Twerk? You know what I'm saying? I still think that there's some other great competition out here. We always say we want to see them outside more often, but those are still big wins for the resume. And for all those old heads, you know what I'm saying, that they're saying Murder Mook is the best ever and nobody can this and that, it strengthens their arguments. So you get eras going at it, you get award implications, and you get straight career-defining moments and God-tier plates. Easily the biggest battle of December, in my opinion. And that is obviously my 5 here for the biggest battles. Battles that I didn't mention that some people might be upset about. One is Rex versus Chess. And I still think that, in a sense, it is a big battle. Kind of a grudge match in a way, even though it seems more of a grudge match built from competition, which fine by me. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Usually that brings the best out of battlers. But when we talk about two guys that, for me, if Rex beats Chess, I think it would be really cool. I think it would be one of Rex's more formidable wins in like a decade's worth of time. So obviously that would be fantastic for Rex fans and just for Rex's legacy. But I think Rex has just kind of cemented who he is. If he loses this battle, I don't think, what are we going to say, that this is something bad for Rex that we just completely didn't expect. And then on the flip side for Chess, it's tough because when you get to a point, I think it would be big for him. You know what I'm saying? If he won, I think it would get him back on the right track. He'd be on big cards. But I always feel like, kind of what I talked about with Lou earlier, but a little different with Chess because he's given some all-time great moments. I mean, there's no question about it. His talent's been showcased on a much higher level than Lou with multi-Summer Madness and great no moments and things like that. But he's taken so many losses versus top-tier talent that if he lost to Rex again, what are we going to do? The whole we're stop booking him, this and that? We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chess is going to stay booked. And it's just when you create a body of work that has so many L's like that, the stakes for me just get a little lower and lower for everyone. Because, I mean, if you win, it will be good for the record. But if you lose, what are we're going to have a conversation that we haven't had before. So that's a big reason that battle didn't make it. And then Coffee and Couture got canceled, so obviously it's not going to make it at all, but I think it would have been one of the 3 or 4 most important battles, and it would bring more importance to Coffee versus 40 as well. But if there's any other big battles that are happening in December that you think should have made the list, please let me know in the comments down below. What's a big battle that I missed that is going to be one of the most important? And then out of the 5 battles that I have here, what do you guys think is going to be the best battle? Not just the biggest battle, but what do you think is going to be the best battle of all these cards in December? I'd love to hear y'all's opinions in the comments down below. But it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.